So many of you listening are incredible filmmakers, but if you're stuck in the cycle of always editing with no time to actually work on your business, it can really stunt your growth. Taylor and I see it all the time. A growing backlog, late nights behind the computer, and no space to focus on booking, marketing, or scaling. That's exactly why we're so excited to partner with Wanderlust. Wanderlust offers professional video editing services for filmmakers, including highlight films, feature films, documentary edits, ceremony and speech edits, elopements, and even social media teasers. And the best part is they match your style, so your films still feel like your artistry. Whether you edit in Final Cut, Premiere Pro, or DaVinci Resolve, they deliver a seamless outcome no matter which platform you use. Outsourcing your edits means more time working on your branding, making it to that networking event, and carving out time for education to actually grow your business instead of being buried in footage. Head over to wanderlust-videos.com to learn about their amazing services. And as a listener, you can get $100 off your first project with Wanderlust of $200 or more with the code LEVELUP100. If your backlog is keeping you from working on your business, Wanderlust is your solution. Hello, friends. Thank you so much for joining us for another conversation here again on another Tuesday. I'm here with my girl, Taylor. Taylor, how are you? And let's get right into it. What is happening in our sphere of the Level Up Co world?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. And it's an exciting day because tomorrow the doors close to the Luxury Mastermind Spring 2026. We've had so many conversations with a lot of you guys who are considering joining the Mastermind program for the spring of this year, and you're still on the fence. And I'm here to let you know there are still a couple spots left, not very many. They are going to sell out. And the doors officially close at midnight tomorrow, Wednesday, March 11th, right? So just a little bit of time left, and we dive right into the program starting next Tuesday. So we are getting the ball rolling, and we are so excited to be bringing on one of our recent Mastermind members from the fall of 2025 for this episode, Kyrie Copeland, because I think it's so great to hear other people's experiences within the program and to hear about their wins. And Kyrie is absolutely no exception to that. She was able to increase her average booking rate from like that $35-ish $100 price point to $6,500 price point. And we just ended the Mastermind program like 2 months ago. So these changes have been super, super fast within her business. She saw that ROI extremely quickly, and we're excited to share her story with you. This is the Level Up Podcast. I'm Taylor Petrinovich.
And I'm Kelly Gilster of 618 Studios.
And we are on a mission to help wedding filmmakers and photographers level up their businesses so you can make more and work less.
We want to help you confidently take your business from mainstream to luxury, and it all starts right here.
Well, hey, Kyrie, we are so excited for this chat today. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, we are so excited too. You are such a pleasure to chat with, and I feel like we've just known of your business for a really, really long time. You are based in Chicago. That's your primary market. And I'd love for you to kind of paint the picture for the listeners who maybe aren't familiar with your business as to who you serve, the market that you're in, maybe a little bit about your style and approach to weddings in general.
Yeah, definitely. So I am Kyrie, obviously, but I serve Chicago, and I have been serving in that area. I think it was around 2023 when I started pivoting over there, because I actually live about, depending on where you're at inside of the city, like suburbs or straight downtown, it's about 2.5 to 3 hours for me to drive over. And so where I live, I like where I live. I liked the market. It was really great when I first started doing wedding videography, but then there was very quickly kind of a ceiling, a cap. There was a price point I was hitting, and then just the kinds of clients I was getting weren't bad, but I kept feeling like not creatively excited per se. But I kind of ended up with a wedding in Chicago on accident, and I came home from that weekend and I was like, I have to get into that market. I love it. Please let me come back. And so I started pivoting, and I think most people have felt what I felt. I think in the beginning, I felt like I wasn't allowed to say that I serve Chicago, or I'm based in Chicago, because I don't live there. And so that was kind of a struggle. And I think all of 2023 was kind of getting confident in that voice of saying like, no, you're allowed to say I'm based in Chicago. And it's kind of been like no looking back now. But on a wedding day itself, I definitely opt for a lighter footprint and a more documentary style approach. I am the first person to say the technical side of things isn't what excites me. And I know that like there's a bunch of people who are going to be like, no, don't say that. But I think that the reason being is I shoot handheld and I would rather focus all of my energy on kind of scanning the room constantly, which I think every videographer or photographer is doing, but I really want to be able to move as quickly as possible. So that's kind of I would describe like how I show up on a wedding day, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's so good. When you were starting off in those early years and you were serving more of your direct primary market, maybe weddings were 30 minutes from your house or something like that. What were those years where you were building the business in that market? And what year was it when you discovered, the fulfillment of working in the city and having maybe a bigger budget to be working with higher level clients? What year was that shift? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I started in 2021 and I had those first couple in 2023 where I pivoted to Chicago because when I first started, I feel like it's an unoriginal story. I feel like Taylor, you went down a similar path where I was like, I want to do elopements and be in the mountains. And I very quickly was like, no, I booked a wedding in my second year in Oregon, which was gorgeous. It was at a national park. It was everything I wanted. And I learned very quickly, like, they were the sweetest pair. I loved the wedding day, everything about it, like the experience, but editing wise, I think I learned very quickly that my brain, when I'm editing not a typical, but a more like structured wedding day, I think is easier for me creatively to edit. And so that was kind of then, okay, I felt like I was starting back at square one because I spent that whole first year gearing up to be like, I want to be the elopement videographer. I followed all of the top names in that area. And then it was like, well, that was really fun, and it's not like I didn't like it, but, like, that wasn't it, so now what? And so I think that 2022 to 2023 was a lot of trial and error, and then that kind of accident stumble into Chicago, it was like all the light bulbs flickered, and I was, like, honing in on that. We're gonna see because if I don't like it, I'll find out quicker if I just dial in on it.
I love
So
it. Yeah. I like definitely hear my direct story like reflected in you. Maybe I'm just like a few years ahead of you. And it's so funny. And I think it's actually great to hear other people having that experience because it illuminates the fact that we can have an appreciation for so many different types of styles and niches within the wedding industry or within photography or within filmmaking. But that doesn't mean that's what you have to pursue. You know what I mean? Like sometimes
yeah.
we can just appreciate that kind of art for what it is and then pursue a completely different path for ourselves. And sometimes it takes experimenting, like you said. And I love that instead of like just like putting your head down and saying like, well, this is what I built. I'm married to it now. Like you're light on your feet and you were able to pivot. And I think that your business is a lot better off for it and you're probably a lot happier.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think what you said, I love the term that you don't have to get married to it in anything in life because I think so many people do that where they go, "Well, I've spent, a month on this." And it's to me if it's not clicking, don't force it, just pivot. There's so many paths and so many options. I always like to joke in a like not dark way, but I'm like, we're on a floating rock, guys. Like just go do what you want to do. There's nobody's you're not in contract with any I mean you are, but you know what I mean, like a wedding. But the universe doesn't have you on a contract. Just follow what you feel pulled to. I don't
Yeah.
know. I think people it's scary, but overthink it sometimes. Just
They do. They overthink it. I agree. It's not as serious as people make it out to be. I mean, it is serious in the way that like it's your living and your livelihood, but you can go make money in a million different ways. Like
yeah.
any of us, like so many of us can go back to college tomorrow if we wanted and like be in a completely different career path in 10 years from now. You know what I mean? So like yeah, you're not married to it, but what you've built is like Kelly and I are inspired by what you've done. Like your brand feels a little bit different, maybe a little bit more alternative than some others that we follow out there. So we would love to kind of hear your journey of scaling your business because I know you've had some really great wins recently. So can you talk us through maybe some of the things that you've implemented?
Yeah, definitely. I think the first thing that I started to kind of see a shift was I don't remember what time. I think like middle of 2024, I launched a rebrand. And I think that started a big kind of domino of focusing on the branding side of things because I kept finding myself thinking what every single person I think thinks at some point where they're like, I feel like my work is good and I feel like I'm, mildly pleasant to be around. Like, why am I not booking these weddings? Like, what do I have to do? And it started with kind of, I don't want to say it in a comparison way, but I started looking at, websites, socials of filmmakers or even photographers, just people that were in a different market than I was. And the thing I kept coming back to was I was like, when I look at my website, obviously I know that it was DIY, but it feels DIY, even if you don't know that. And so I kept going back on that and I kept feeling like I need to, make the spend to start putting more time and effort and money into my branding. And I think that that's helped a lot. And I think that through that experience too, it kind of helped me because they do a really intensive, like, sit down. What do you want? What is your dream client? All of those back end conversations I think were really helpful for me. And then thinking of that in terms of how I'm showing up online and kind of, which it was kind of funny when we talked about in the mastermind, the pillars, because I think like that was something I was trying to implement in my brain and you guys took it and made it into a sentence that I was like, oh, yes, okay. And like niching it down, but doing that in a way to where it feels authentic to me and who I am still, but it's still, I kind of like the way you guys say it, like the 2.0 version of you, where doing that and then obviously networking, showing up to more networking events has helped a lot. But doing all of those things, and I think reminding myself that I can show up as the 2.0 version of myself and I don't have to be some fake version that I think everybody wants me to be, because I think that was a voice for a long time. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
leaning in.
I remember you chatting with us about that and you were like, I don't want to change who I innately am. And I'm like,
Mhm.
absolutely. Like, no, there's a market in the premier and luxury spaces for all types of people because
Yeah.
not all high net wealth individuals fit in this compartmentalized box. There's so many.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes we just like have this little voice in our head that's telling us like, well,
Mhm.
I'm seeing what like the tippity top of people are doing and it feels like it's in a box. And I will say, I think like in the rise of that like style me pretty era, when that was like a lot of what we were fed again and again and again from like
Mhm.
2017 to 2020, I could see how people get that idea in their head. But now we're seeing like kind of a revolution away from that and people really like leaning into who they are and what they want for their wedding. And so there's so many different styles out there that serve so many different people. And so I think that's really great, like something that came out of COVID, like everyone just kind of like restructuring what they want a wedding day to look like and feel like rather than just like trying to get it put up on Style Me Pretty or Martha Stewart, all those things and trying to fit themselves into that box. So I'm so happy that you felt that way because we do get that a lot when we have, prospective mastermind students say, like, well, I don't want to change who I am. And it's like, we're not going to try to change you. We just need to reset the mindset and the 2.0
Mhm.
version, the gala version of yourself, all those things. It's the same thing in which you'd show up to a um, a job interview in
Yeah.
a more buttoned up and polished version of yourself rather than just what you'd be doing watching Bridgerton on the couch in your sweats. So, yeah, I'm glad that you had that experience. I'm glad that it clicked for you because
Mhm.
I can see it so clearly through now your next level branding efforts. And I'm sure on like the internal systems and processes have really been buttoned up as well.
Yeah. I think the buttoning up too, because I've been doing a lot of post mastermind, like the back end side of things, like going through that, like questionnaires and all like, how can I minimize this? And doing kind of
Yeah.
those like homework things. And what I keep finding is I'm almost like eye rolly with myself because I'm like, this is easier for me. Like, why was I not doing this prior? Like, I think sometimes it is what you said, like, we have this voice in our head and we listen to it and then it overcomplicates and everything gets muddy in the water, and it's like it's really a lot simpler and a lot clearer than I think we, like, allow ourselves to see at times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in our alumni program now, and I loved kind of restructuring your email to that planner that you were
Yeah.
like, "Okay, yeah," and, like, I think we still think that we need to, like, over explain and whatever, and I'm like, let's just peel it back a little bit. We'll go a little bit more concise yet effective. And so I love being able to help students do that because I was in the exact same boat. Like
Yeah.
I look back on 2012 and 2013 and I was like writing a novel to my not my students, my clients and also to wedding planners because I don't know why. I think I was just well, I'm just a yap all the time too, but I've really made it more clear and concise now on the communication side and have just realized like we can do less, guys. We can do less, but still offer a really high level experience for our clients.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. I think too what you guys the clear, concise, and I can't remember the third there was a third part of that.
Kind.
Kind, that's it. I think that that's when I have you guys, like, in the back of my head when I'm, like, typing an email because the way I do it is I'll go, like, type up my, like I call it my yap version, and then I go through and I'm like, "Okay, how do we like the little voice?" Where I'm like, "Okay, like, take it back, refine it back, bring it in." And
Yeah,
I do
edit,
think
edit,
it
edit.
is you realize how much, like, white noise you put in communications when you start doing that you're like, "That didn't need to be in there."
Actually, really quickly, so I feel like we're speaking this language between the 3 of us that, like, we're all in on, but maybe the listeners are not really clued in on what we're even, like, talking about. So, I kinda wanna dial it back a little bit to, like, help them understand what we're talking about. Like, we're talking about communication, we're talking about email, we're talking about processes. Like, Kiri, through our mastermind program, like, what have you learned about why these things are important and actually, like, can be a needle mover in your business?
Yeah. I think that what it always comes back to in my mind is the one of the main things you guys dove in on is especially when we're thinking of it through like if it's a planner reading the email is an easy example, but they're balancing and spinning so many plates and they're doing so many things and they have, the clients we share plus however other many they have. I think that reframing it into I'm not under explaining, I'm more so respecting their time is how I'm looking at it in an email because I think that that does help and I think it's helped to kind of reverse engineer it too. Like, if I were to receive this email, do I want to read all of that? No, because I'm sitting here in the same boat going, kind of that, like, to put it less pleasantly, but get to the point. And I think a lot of us have that feeling when we're reading emails. And I think that teaching that through the mastermind and then kind of that, like the alumni and doing those things and kind of learning how to refine my own voice where that when I'm asking, hey, can I have your guys' input? This is kinda how I worded it to feel like me, and then you guys peeling it, like you said, that one more layer of, like, just a little more it's kind of like building the muscle is how I think of it, of learning how to be as concise as possible because it is, it's everybody's got a dozen emails a day, and I wanna get to it, you know?
Yeah. No, so great. And honestly, like the way we're communicating in person through email, through DMs, like I feel like that's one of the kind of keyers into seeing where somebody falls in the industry. Like I think that the way you're communicating allows a planner or like a veteran, just a veteran in the industry, like distinguish like who's a newbie, who's operating at the budget level and who's operating at the luxury level. Like there's such like a poise and like a way that people in the luxury space go about communicating, and I feel like when you're speaking the language, it's easy to recognize that in others, and it's even easier to recognize when other people lack that, right?
Mm,
So our whole job is to make you feel like a seamless fit within the space that you wanna be working with, so that no flags or red flags are raised by planners, by maybe photographers you're working alongside,
yeah,
clients who are, interacting in their own personal lives at a high level. Maybe they're doctors or lawyers and like this level of communication is the norm for them, and if you are subpar, like that may feel like a something that devalues you or makes you feel not worth it. So it's it's so granular, like the things that actually do matter for you to fit seamlessly into that space.
mm,
So you were in our fall mastermind program in 2025. We would love to kind of hear a little bit about what your business looked like before you hopped into mastermind. Like, what did the 2025 season look like? And
yeah.
then how is it looking like moving on from there?
Yeah. I think that honestly, my biggest takeaway, and I think it's what I said on that call before when I was considering joining Mastermind, when we hopped on that quick call of I kept feeling like I could just I could get my business here, but I knew like if I want to get to where I really want to go, it needs to be here. And I was like, I don't know how to where is that middle space that I cannot for the life of me figure out that I've tried for the last year because that kind of how I said earlier that 2023 and 2024 is when I started like, okay, I'm feeling good. I want to move into the Chicago market. I know like this is the lane I want to stay in. And I felt like I was doing a good job of building and making those connections, but at the end of the day, I couldn't ever get that last little bit. And then I obviously had, joined a couple of the free trainings. I've shown up to those things. And I think that every time I would leave with some sort of little nugget from one of those, and I would go, and then I would start implementing that little nugget that I learned, and I would start to see immediate kind of like how other vendors or people are responding to me because I made that little pivot. And then I kept coming back to, okay, if you just join the mastermind, like just get on with it, kind of that same, I'm impatient. I was like, if I just go do this, then I don't have to sit here and keep trying to do guesswork, and I don't have to keep trying to figure out what I don't know, which now in hindsight sounds as silly as it was. You're sitting there trying to like put a puzzle together and you don't even have the right puzzle box in front of you. And I think that my biggest takeaway was truly just all of those little things, kind of what you said, a granular level of showing up, how you're speaking, how these things are connecting, even just like little things of like how you film the table settings, like this says this to a planner versus this, like all of
Yeah.
those little things that just etiquette wise or any of that under the umbrella. That's kind of a ramble, but that's when I started to feel like, okay, like the head nods, like this is what I was not picking up on because I'm putting this on my website and maybe it's, pretty and I think it looks great, but even something like the candles aren't lit. I don't realize that that signals X, Y, and Z to somebody
Yeah.
in the tier that I would like to work within. And so I think that really was absolutely my biggest takeaway from Mastermind and kind of, I think more just the internal voice, but kind of the feeling of like, no, I'm allowed to be in that, I'm allowed to exist in that space. I'm allowed to want to be there, kind of diminishing those voices throughout the mastermind. You start to feel more confident by the end because you're learning the things and you know what you're doing.
Here at the Level Up Co., Kelly and I truly do believe that an elevated client experience from the very first touch point of that first email all the way through the delivery of your wedding films or those final galleries are all so important. And that's why Kelly and I both have been using and loving VidFlow for the last several years, and we recommend to all of our students and our audience members to use VidFlow as well. Delivery experience truly matters. The way your clients view their films for the very first time should be a magical moment. It needs to be a professional and branded experience, instead of basic file sharing like Dropbox or Google Drive, or even Vimeo or YouTube links. Through VidFlow, clients can stream their videos through smart TVs, streaming devices, and setup boxes. Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, you name it. There are so many options for clients to watch and experience their films for the very first time on the big screen at home. And VidFlow is now offering photo delivery as well. They now support photo delivery with their new hybrid galleries, which is a major benefit for hybrid shooters and combined photo and video teams. You can now deliver your beautiful photo galleries alongside your video galleries in one place. Level up your delivery experience for 2026 and beyond with VidFlow. You can get started today by going to vidflow.co/thelevelupco.
You feel less alone too, because sometimes if you're like, okay, I have these grand plans, I know that I want to do this, but then when you get to sit in a virtual classroom with 40 other students every single week, and you guys get to learn together, and you see all the boxes and the screens, and you see the people implementing and nodding their head and smiling at the things that you've experienced too, and laughing at the, the hard lessons learned that you learned along the way too. You're like, okay, wait, it's not just me. There's a collective group of all these people that we are like all living the same lives in a way, and we all want to get to this next era of our business together, and it almost gives you that permission that it's okay. So I think
Yeah.
that's why we love the group coaching aspect so much, is because of that. Like that's just a piece that you just don't get when you do a one-on-one mentorship. And I'm sure
Mhm.
that there's times and places for one-on-one mentorships. Taylor and I have done one-on-one mentorships ourselves for our own business with higher level professionals, but a group coaching thing is so powerful too. And so that's why we love it. And Kiri,
Yeah.
I feel like your screen was on all the time, so I got to see your face all the time, and it was just so great, and I'm so happy that you made that decision for yourself and was like, "Let's get on with it. Enough is enough. I need to stop trying to, like, put the puzzle together with the wrong box that I have." That was
Mhm.
so powerful. I feel like we're gonna wanna use that as, like, a cut on social or something because it's so true, and I'm sure a lot of people listening here are like, "Yeah, that's exactly how it feels like actually sitting here in early 2026."
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah,
Definitely.
for sure. Um, I love, so I'm just like you, Kiri. I'm like, give me the bullet points, like let's boil it down to like the most important bits. So, um, I'm so sorry. I'm so annoying. Um, I want
Never.
to know like I want to know the details of your business. Like, I want to know, like, how many weddings are you shooting? Like, what were you charging last year? What are you charging this year? Are you booking into 2027 yet? Like, can you, like, let's start with, like, maybe 2025, like
Mhm.
spring, summer 2025, pre-mastermind, and like how things are looking like after.
Yeah. So pre-Mastermind last year, I went and actually just ran these numbers this week, so it's fresh in my brain. Because I too love a spreadsheet. I love to track things. Um,
Kindred
I
spirits over here.
last
I love it.
yeah, like in my 50 spreadsheets, my happy little home. Um, I was ranging around. I was kind of toying with my collections a lot last year, so I feel like the average is a little off, but because I went back and forth from a la carte to now I'm just doing 3 tiers. And so but there was a lot of play with that last year, but I was averaging between like 3,800 to like 5,200 was like a big like, woo, like that's a good, good wedding I booked. And now this year, I would say my average booking is now falling when I just ran the numbers, which granted, I try to take about 14 to 16 weddings a year. And I think right now I'm at 11 or 12 for the year. And so I always try to leave a little room because I know there's the last minute friends. And so I'm like, ugh. But now I would say my average when I ran it the other day is around 6,500. And so that to me is like an immediate. And I do think that that has a large play and or not a large play. Mastermind had a large play in that in the sense of I went through which I never worry too much because it's the holidays, but there was no bookings for a couple months because people are doing Thanksgiving and Christmas. And so in the last just like 4, 6 weeks, I've had kind of all of those start rolling in all those bookings. And it's been crazy to see too. Like I had my first one where they booked me like no call. And I think it goes back to that just learning to be like clear, concise, like it's cool, it's fine. Because I was pre-mastermind. That's kind of another one is I was very much guilty of like, we have to get on a call because I was like, they'll never book me if I don't get them on a call.
I love it
And
when they just want to like give you money over email. It's
yeah,
literally the best.
I was like, wait, this has been here the whole time. I literally was like, oh my gosh, because it really is. I think obviously like it's fun to meet them, it's fun to chat, but it is your time and it's a lot of time and, energy to show up and get on the call and sell. And I think that that's also selfishly been really fun for me because I don't love selling. And so I think now where my marketing is at and where I've been changing and pivoting those initial response communications and how those are styled and letting them see pricing right away and being clear and, concise and saying, here we go, here it is. If you want to talk, we can. It's been like night and day on just how much more seamless and like quick bookings have felt. I feel like there's a lot less hand holding. I'm borderline almost like, hello, like, should I be doing more? Like, I'm like,
I
or
feel
is
guilty
that
because like
okay?
you almost have to do nothing.
Yeah, like, I'm
Yeah.
like, you're just gonna pay the retainer? This is weird.
I love it. Honestly, like I feel like the luxury market is the introvert's like hack
Yeah.
at the wedding industry because you don't have to like give people hard sells. You don't have to do a million follow-ups. You don't have to show up on like all the calls, like at least
No.
most of the time, the way I run my business. And it's perfect. And it's even better like if you're in a place where you have kids and like trying to schedule consultations and like weird hours where
Yeah.
you're like doing homework or like cleaning up milk off the floor. Like it just like honestly to me like that's the way that's the reason why I love the way like I run my business at the luxury level. Like very few calls, like all over email, super like clean and clear, like because it
Mm,
saves time. It allows me to not put makeup on or put clothes on. Um and like it allows me to like juggle less. So yeah,
mhm.
if you
Yeah,
want to go to the
definitely.
luxury space, you can do less and it's great. I don't know.
Genuinely, introvert's dream.
Introvert stream. I
He's
don't know.
like,
Would
"Don't
you say you're
worry."
more of an introvert or an extrovert?
I'm definitely more introverted. I can
Yeah.
turn it on, but, like, I gotta go home after and sit in quiet.
Yeah. You need like the couch rotting time.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Me and
for
my
sure.
doom scroll.
Yes. Well, we're so proud of you. I mean, okay, if we're just like looking at numbers, like I'm the numbers queen, like your average price is like $2,500 more than it was this
Mhm,
time last year. Extrapolated over 15 weddings in a season, that's like an
mhm,
extra $30,000 that you'll be making in 2026. And then
mhm,
let's just say you increase your prices by 20% again next year. Now you're making $45,000 to $50,000. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
really compounds over time. And that's where like it's one of those things where like you want to put this puzzle piece together or this puzzle together and you don't have the picture in front of you. You don't know which pieces go where. And it's like, yes, there is a cost to join Mastermind, but like it pays out tenfold. And you just like pay one time and then like you get to compound over and over and over in the following years. And like your business is all of a sudden like so much more profitable than it ever was. And yeah, you can spend a decade figuring out yourself, or you can like follow our guidance. Kelly and I have already figured it out on our own, and we're just giving you the recipe book to make it go 10 times faster. So
Yeah.
we were so happy when you joined. We know that you were like in the level up universe for a
For a
while.
long time.
And one thing that like Kelly and I, this like creeps probably some people out who are listening, but like we know who you guys all are. Like if you're liking our stuff on Instagram, you're posting in our Facebook group, you're sending us DMs, like we know you by name, we know your business name. And guess what? Kelly and I talk about you guys on the phone all the time. And Kiri, you're one of those.
Not creepy at all. I feel
Not
that when
creepy at
you're
all.
like, hey there.
I love it. I don't know. Like we just like actually we care about you guys, and like that's why we do what we do. Like we want your success, Kiri, like to be the norm. Like we want everyone in our sphere to have the same results that you had, and we're so proud of you. So what's on the horizon? Like what are like the big Kyrie Copeland films plans like moving into the next few years? What are you hoping for?
Yeah, I would love in my like dream world in the next like 5 years. I would love, which I've been doing this year more. I've been the introvert of me. I've been pushing myself to go to more networking events. And I've been, as much as I'm like, when I walk in the door, I've been loving that a lot because I do think kind of the other thing you guys talk about a lot about is you're not going to meet these people unless you go get in the room. And to me, I can sit here and I can say, not say I'm gonna at the end of the year raise my prices. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And I would love to be at, maybe like 10K in 5 years or whatever that looks like. But it's gonna be a lot quicker if I go get in the room and meet these other people and I go start building those relationships now. And so I think those two things kind of combined and to kind of just keep like snowballing it the next 5 years is ultimately the goal. And I think another part of the mastermind that I really loved is that you get the lifetime access because I think you guys made a good point when you were in there because right now, I'm in this sector and I would like to get here 3 years from now. Maybe I'm trying to get here. I don't know what that looks like. And so the fact that you can go back and kind of take those tidbits and reevaluate from the different lens of maybe I'm trying to get into a lovely market now, but in 3 years I would I want more entry level luxury. Being able to go back and kind of relook at all of those lessons and all of the tools you guys gave us, I think is super helpful. And so I think for me, it's going to be just the word I keep coming back to is like refinement. The next 5 years is just refine, refine, refine. And then whenever I get to, I don't know what the magic end number I want to be at is. Right now, I'm like, this is just cool. I don't work for somebody else. But I think I'm definitely somebody I'm an Enneagram 3. So I know the bar is just going to keep, I know myself.
So are we.
But
You're in good company. And I
yeah.
mean, I think it's great. Like there's no better motivator than internal motivation, like your own self and like
Mhm.
competing with yourself. Like, I don't know, Kelly, maybe you disagree, but like I don't care what anyone else is doing. And like I'm not competing with anyone else. It's literally just like me, myself, and I just like head down running my race. And every year I want to run faster and faster. We're
Mhm.
translating this to business, right? I'm not actually a runner, but
Same.
but I feel like it's great to embrace that. Like if you're a people person, embrace the people personness. If you're an introverted like high achiever, embrace it. Like it's going to get you to the next level. Like whatever makes you like whatever like special little like fairy dust you have, like just like embrace that. Like Kelly, you're a 3 too, but you're also like such a people-y person. And I feel like that's like helped your business so much where like I didn't go that route.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
should be a little more sharky if I'm being honest. I feel like if I could have been like a little bit, I'm so anti the sale. I'm so anti when it comes to
Mhm.
selling of my services or selling of myself. I'm like, I'm just
Yeah.
here. Like, I'm just here. And so I was actually like giving myself a little pep talk a couple days ago of like, Kelly, you got to shoot your shot a little bit more. You got to be a little bit more, not
Aggressive.
sharky. I guess that's not a good word, but like just shoot your shot a little bit more than you do. Cause I kind of just like sit back and I wait a lot of the times. And
Yeah.
I think that's because I spent so many years miss like almost 16 years in the industry here. Spent so many years just waiting for things to come to me rather than going out and making it happen for myself. And
Mhm.
now that I know and I've seen the benefits of shooting your shot, getting in the room, telling people, speaking out into existence what it is that you want to do. I tell this story a few months ago. I shot that incredible fam trip in Lanai. And before that, I did a small little mini fam in San Diego. And that all started because I went and I put myself in the room for the very first time at Kindred in January of 2025. And sitting down at lunch, I sat across from a photographer and he was like a great conversationalist, was like, "What are your goals, Kelly, for this year?" And I was like, "I want to shoot a fam trip. Like, it's just something that I really want to do. I want to be asked. I want to be considered. I think it just looks really fun to be a part of." And then
Yeah.
he literally, like 4 months later, DM me on Instagram, was like, "Hey, I'm on a fam. Do you want to come on and shoot video for the fam?" I'm like, "Okay, cool." Like, I shot my shot. I got into the room. I spoke out into existence the things that I wanted. And it's like actually coming back to me. So,
Yeah.
same thing. It sounds like that's like your strategy over the next few years of like
Mhm.
putting yourself out there, making it happen. I did have one quick question, and
Yeah.
Taylor will be happy because it's about numbers. But was there any part of you, or if someone's sitting here being like, "I'm known in my local market for charging this. I could never raise my prices to this because no one would ever maybe take that seriously or consider that I should be like charging that much." Was there any part of you that was scared of making that big jump from like that 3,800 range that you were starting at now averaging in a 6,500? Did you receive any sort of pushback or what was your experience?
I didn't. I think that sometimes I joke a lot, but I do think there's, like, something to it, but, like, the joke of, like, be delusional. I think that sometimes that is just it's maybe not the best advice, but that is, like, the voice that leads me sometimes where I go, "Just do it," because ultimately, me being a wedding videographer was a delusion. I was at a 9 to 5 and I was like, "Nah, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go do this." I think that that's kind of how I approach everything though, just me personally, and so I didn't have much of a thought. I will say though, I did not feel comfortable to raise those rates until I had X amount on the books. Once I had that kind of safe, cozy, pay the bills, eat number, then that's when I went, okay, it's safe now. I can pivot. But then in terms of how other people would perceive or think of it, I don't feel like this is the greatest answer, but that really wasn't a thought I had. I didn't really like think of what they would think. I was
I
more
love
like,
that.
I just was like, like you said that, and I was like, wow, that really was not a thought. Like,
Well,
I
I will
just,
Great.
say
we
you
all,
did have I will say you did have the idea of like, I need to know that it's comfortable, that I'm making enough. So, in my
yeah,
mind, that translates to you knew that there was a certain level of demand for your business. So,
mhm,
demand is invaluable. Like,
yeah,
supply and demand. We hear about it in Economics 101, right? Supply and demand. And so, you knew that the demand was there, therefore, raising your rates while also still working on your branding and your processes and your marketing efforts and things like that is so helpful. But yeah, we don't advise to people like to just raise their rates
yeah,
to raise their rates if they're not even meeting the needs that they need of bookings. But
yeah,
so you did
Actually,
think about it
I
more
have
than
a
you thought.
story. Like, I just want to interject. So, I've been doing a ton. Oh, okay. If you're listening to this in real time as it comes out, we are currently enrolling for our spring 2026 Mastermind program, which we're so excited about. We kick off on March 17th. 2026 and the doors close on March 11th. So if you're listening to this and it's not quite March 11th yet, you still have time to hop in. We would love to have you. thelevelupco.com/mastermind. And after that shameless plug, I wanted to say I've been doing a lot of consultations with photographers and filmmakers who are considering joining. And I was speaking to a photographer who is also simultaneously in another like coaching program.
mhm,
And she is like in a dead zone for pricing. She thinks, you know what I mean? Like at this
yeah,
price point, like she's really not booking. Like she really doesn't have anything on the books. And this other coach told her just like to raise her prices. And I was like, I don't think that's the best idea if I'm being totally honest, because the demand's not there where you're at now. So like there's lots of other things we can do to like get you unstuck and get you booking and then get your prices up. But like, I don't know. I think that's one of the things that's great about like the way Kelly and I approach things. It's like we're not going to be reckless like with our advice. Like we understand that like your business is like a very real and important thing, and we're going to help guide you in a very like individualized way. Like what we
Yeah.
would tell you to do, Kyrie, for your business, like knowing like your goals, your personal life, your financial needs, like is going to look completely different than we would tell a single mom of 4 living in Wisconsin. You know what I mean? Like those are going to be like different sets of advice. And so Kelly and I love that we have that opportunity within the program to give not only like the group guided mentorship and coaching, but like such individualized coaching as well. Because yeah, what I would tell you to do is going to be very different than what I would tell her to do, which is different than what I tell him to do. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I just had to like, I felt like I needed to say that.
Yeah, I
Kyrie,
do. I feel
yeah.
like I want to echo that too, because there were a couple calls where that was something I appreciated a lot that you guys did because that was something I noticed a lot. If we're on a live call and somebody asks you a question, I would say like 9 times out of 10, you guys are asking a follow-up question before you answer. And it's something along the lines of that, like, how many do you have booked? Is something as simple as like, do you have kids? Do you have like, who is depending on you? Because I think that you have to take all of that into account to answer somebody's question. Because exactly like you said, I mean, my wife and I have 3 cats. That's it. There's no kids looking at me going, where's dinner? Like I'm going to show up very differently than like Kelly or Taylor because we have different lives. And I think that that was something I really appreciated throughout the mastermind was there was always a follow-up of what do things look like for you? Not just
Mhm.
what you said, raise your price, do this. And it's like, well, I can't do X, Y, and Z like, Kelly down here because I have blah, blah, blah. I think that there is a lot of just raise your price talk, and there's not a lot of individualization behind it, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
call
in
that
the
like the
industry in
Facebook
general.
group method where
Yeah.
people are just like launching out like their end all be all, like you have to do it this way and this way and this way without
Mhm.
knowing any context of a personal life or years in business or future goals and all that stuff. So yeah, no Facebook group um like what do I call it? The oh my gosh, what's it called? The something gallery?
Oh, the peanut gallery?
Peanut
Yeah.
gallery.
No
No peanut
comments from peanut
gallery.
gallery.
Yeah, no peanut gallery Facebook advice here.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, Kyrie, this has been great. We love having you in our alumni program now. You were such a joy to be around. Before we end the episode, if someone's listening and they don't follow you yet on Instagram, where can they find you?
Yeah. So my Instagram is at Kyrie Copeland Films.
Can you
So
spell your first name?
I was gonna say, I was like, my name's kind of rough.
No,
It
it's
is.
really not, but I think it's maybe not like they wouldn't know exactly what to type.
Yeah, that's fair. It's Kyrie. It's the same as Kyrie Irving, if anyone knows that man.
So Kyrie
Mm,
Copeland Films.
yes.
Perfect. All right, go give Kyrie a follow. She's so talented. And if you are interested in seeing a filmmaker who has like a little bit of a different vibe, like less style me pretty, you know what I mean? Like go follow her. Her work is so beautiful and you'll get to follow her amazing growth journey, because I know that you said in the episode that you were hoping in the next like 5 years to be at $10,000 charging, right? But I think that's going to come a lot faster than that.
Well, thanks. We'll hope so.
Thank you for joining us in today's conversation. Please help us reach more filmmakers and photographers like you by taking a screenshot and sharing it to social media. And don't forget to tag us at The Level Up Co.
And join us again next week, same time, same place, as we continue to level up the industry together.